I welcome you to Good Morning Abuja. It promises to be a jolly good ride all through. Please stay with us. My name is Pamela Zamfara, and I'm not alone this morning.
She is doing it with Appiah Simon, and trust me, it is a beautiful Thursday, a very special one at that. We'll be bringing a lot for you, and we have a special guest today. I'm not going to tell you who he or she is, but then you can't start your day without being motivated. Let's listen to David Hansel.
I came to talk to you today about maximizing the resources at your disposal. So many times, many people feel disadvantaged. They look at people and they see, yes, this family has money, this family has connection, these ones have resources, they can go to Dubai, they can go to anywhere. But I came to tell you today that life did not leave anybody resourceless. Everybody has something. Some have skills, some have education, some have resources, some have money, and some have time. And most often than not, the person with just time feels like he has nothing. If that time is put into proper use, it can be turned to skills. It can be turned to inventions. It can be turned to things that will benefit society. That is where your reward will come from. That is where the money will come from. That is where the prosperity will come from. That is where living the balanced life will come from. So look at your life. Analyze the things that were handed over to you. It's not possible to come into life with no resource. No, everybody has something. And everybody has something credible to offer. You just have to look inward, discover it, refine it, and serve it to your world. So the man that has time must work on his time to build skills out of that time. The man that has resources must invest it to make sure that it produces optimal results. The man that has skills must put them, refine them, and sharpen them and serve them to his world. And the man that has relationship must put them into proper use. So look at what you have today and make up your mind to maximize it. Don't go about complaining that you don't have nothing. No, you have something. Use it nicely.
Welcome back from that motivational talk. Hope you were motivated enough for the day. Up next is our Keep Fit segment. Please do well to join in.
All right, so as always, we start off with our warm-up. And today's routine, I'm doing something a little bit different because I'm just going to freestyle. So you guys, we're freestyling together. Okay, let's take our shoulders back, nice and big. And make sure you're stepping with your feet as well. Let's get as many different muscle groups as possible involved in this workout. Right shoulder. Hey. That's it. Other side, let's go. Hey. Well done. Let's take it like this. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Woo. Even though it's a warm up, still have fun with it, okay? That's it. Okay. Let's take our hands up. 1 and 2. So side to side. Let's stretch through. And down. Let's go. Okay. That's it. Let's repeat. Hey. Well done. That's it. Nice deep breath. We're warming up. Okay. A little bit more exaggerated with the move. Let's take it up. Hey. And down. That's it. And up. There's nothing wrong. And up. Down.
Welcome back from our exercise segment. Now, still talking health. Health, they say, is wealth. And for us to do good, to thrive as a nation, we would have to be a healthy nation. When COVID came, we were all scared and we thought we wouldn't make it through. But hey, we're fine. Now we hear of monkeypox. What is it about? How? Like, there are so many questions that people want to get the answers to. And To provide those answers, I have in the studio Professor Chima Onoka, a public health physician, and we are going to be discussing adverse effects of monkeypox. Welcome on the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so monkeypox. Like you would think that is a disease that is supposed to be with the monkeys only, and then we hear
Stay with
that,
the monkeys, right?
we now hear that it's here and human beings are contacting it. Can you tell us what monkeypox is and how it can be contacted?
Yeah, thanks, Pamela. Monkeypox, like, there are many other diseases also that you have that are connected to animals. And then, we've had them, and you always have a challenge when you have such diseases, because it's not just that they start with an animal and get to a human being, but then you can have them now getting transmitted from human to human. And it's the same thing like for monkeypox, first detected, especially within the West and Central African region. And then it's got over the place, because even from places like Congo and all that, people, sometimes people have to move animals as pets and all of that. And so, and then people also go to places where you can have exposure to transmission, because they make contact with the animals. And then as they travel, it also moves around, it follows people. And so that's, where you have all the story related to it. And but we've seen some of the pictures. I know the pictures look scary.
Scary.
Yes. And it was said that when we had an incident in 2017, that if the pictures were like the pictures for COVID, maybe people would have rushed to get COVID vaccines. It would have been different, not like begging people to come and get vaccinated. Because you have those rashes, starting usually from the face area, and then, the way you're turning. I mean, if somebody has that kind of challenge, you just imagine somebody having that maybe a few weeks to getting married. That can change, so many things. And then you can now pick it on the palms and the soles of the feet, and then, you have such rashes. But then it's not just the rashes, but fever, fatigue, and then these rashes that come. So there are many even headaches. There are many things that people can have that can look like it when it starts, but then the rashes will come at some point.
Okay. But then I was going to ask for what is the origin for this monkeypox, where it's like he explained it more at the process. But how is it transmitted? Is it by eating monkey? Because that's the only thing that is in my head. How do you get it? Is it when you eat monkey that you get this disease?
Okay, so it's a virus, and monkeypox virus. And that virus is very similar to smallpox virus. Mm-hmm. So they're actually from the same family, and so it's history. Because of that association, there are people that have said, okay, maybe it wasn't serious enough before, because the older generation of people had smallpox, were vaccinated against smallpox, and that gives like 85% protection for monkeypox virus. So it's a virus, and then, through body fluids and contact, it can get to another person, especially when there's deep contact and exposure to things like, of course, when the body fluids get, somebody picks it. There's still some of it that people can get by, respiratory droplets. And then so things like very close face-to-face contact is also an issue. But talking about eating monkeys, or some other animal, there are lots of studies that have looked at that, but it's still advised that it's dangerous to eat poorly cooked game.
But it's an unusual disease, so I'm wondering why it's attracting, like, people talk about it more like COVID. Why is that? Why is that?
Maybe because of how the pictures are. You see, when we had when we started seeing pictures from Nigeria, when Nigerians started seeing pictures of those who were in very deep respiratory distress because of COVID, it stirred up that fear again, and they moved towards taking measures to prevent it. Now, you've not got that. Even if you have just one person in Nigeria with the monkeypox rashes, that's, people can become very dramatic, and that happened in 2017. People got scared just by seeing the pictures.
Because even by hearing it now, I'm scared.
Yes, really. So if one is contacts this disease, what's the method of treatment, and is there, most importantly, is there a vaccine? Like we have the COVID vaccines, is there a vaccine for the monkeypox disease too?
So thanks, Pamela. There is, of course, all the measures always start with how much we can prevent or avoid getting it. And, a basic thing is still that, all the things that we can do from a personal hygiene perspective. And, of course, also things related to behaviors and all of that. And I think COVID has taught us very serious lessons. But for vaccine, we still have the vaccine that was used for smallpox was there. Now, there are countries like the UK, I mean, recently they just reserved like 20,000 doses of the vaccine, Invanex, the one that they have. Because that provides protection. It's 5% of the time. It's 5%. It's 5% effective against this now. But I don't think it's something that we're waking up to say that, look, there'll now be massive production of vaccines like we had for COVID, because the chance that it will, you never say never. Initially that was the case for COVID. Say, oh no, maybe it's not as serious as it's. That's what we had the first few weeks, but then boom, it spread all over the place. So that vaccine is being kept, and they're advising those especially who are involved in like those special communities, like I talked about earlier. Come and get a jab if especially you feel you've been exposed or something, or you are really involved in this. And then for health workers, health workers are exposed to everything, but especially if your job really requires that, and then you've been exposed in some way, I mean, and you can still get the vaccines. Or you're somebody that really treats people who have such infection. Yeah, so that vaccine is there. But the biggest thing that we need to do is still all those things about infection control, the hygiene things, the things we learned from COVID.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Like, you have really, really educated us and people out there. We really appreciate. We wish we can have, we can stay longer to have this discussion, but then I think from the little that we have heard from you, we're going to really, really work with it. Thank you so much for
my pleasure.
Thank you for coming on the program,
Thank you
Doctor.
very much.
All right. Thank you, viewer, for staying tuned. We have been speaking with Professor Chima Onoka. Don't go anywhere and know that monkeypox is real. Don't be like me that thought it wasn't real. It is real. And if you are exposed to any of this, try and get a jam for it. See you after the break. back from that break and to discuss further. Joining us to discuss the importance of record keeping in our health institution is Baba Gana Mustafa. He is the Registrar CEO, Health Record Board. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Welcome on the program, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, I want to know, like, what is the record keeping in the management of information?
Well, record keeping in regard to health sector, now on is health sector, health record keeping. When you say record keeping, is general perspective.
Oh,
It can be financial record keeping, it can be anything, or personal record keeping. But in our own case, we are keeping health record of patients in a hospital.
Okay.
Yes, this is one of our functions. It is a process where patients, when patients, come in contact with hospital, the record will be created. Then after creation, contribution will going to take place in the record by the healthcare professionals. At the end of the day, the record will be taken to a department called Health Record Department, where the record will be kept safely for future use. Yes, and keeping of records entails a lot. We actually keep the record in different ways, types of record keeping. We file the record chronologically. We also file using alphabet. We also file and record using letters, using figures, sorry. We call it straight filing system. And in straight filing system, straight numerical filing system, we arrange records based on the date the record created, or based on a unit numbering system. A unit numbering system is a number given to a patient, which should be one number given to one patient for a one record. So in this aspect, duplication definitely eliminated. And when there is a request for record, there is easy access to the records. So this is just the meaning of record keeping.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So in times past, when you go to the hospitals and you need, your record brought, like your file brought, you would see it takes a very long time. You would see files everywhere, like there's a whole file room. But we've noticed that has changed of recent. Everything is now computerized. But anything that is a positive step, sometimes you would still need it to be upgraded. What's your take on this very good thing that's happened? That's the computerization of patients' information. What should be done so that it can be better? And generally, what's your take on this issue?
Well, the board actually is trying very hard to see that if not all the hospitals in the country, most of the hospitals are digitized. We have a software called e-health record. This e-health record is a record actually. Is a software developed by software developers depending on the needs of that particular hospital. And the e-health record actually has a lot of advantages compared to the paper-based health records. Because with e-health record, as you rightly said, the issue of keeping of records anyhow is not there, and the issue of time wastage should not be there, because at the press of a button, you can be able to access your record. So the board is working towards it to see that all the hospitals are being digitized. I know most of the developed countries have undergone this process, and in Nigeria, some of our hospitals, like the National Hospital, they are almost 60% done in e-health record and some other hospitals. Though majority of the hospitals are using paper-based. But we will try our possible best to see that e-health record are being used, and a kind of a common software should be common application software should be used throughout the country.
But then this e-health record you're talking about, is it during when you assume office, or since you assume office, has anything changed? What is new?
Well, before I assume office, the process of e-health record is ongoing.
Okay.
Because my predecessor and my boss, because I worked with him before taking over the mantle, actually started the issue of e-records, and we went further to start training those that are coming into the service area to work as the students, which we mandate all these schools to get the e-health record so that the students will be familiar with e-health record. Anytime when they, coincidentally or they were employed in a hospital where e-health record is used, they can be able to fit into the system. Yes. So e-health record is ongoing, and I continue from the point where my predecessor stopped. We are on it by the grace of God. May probably before the end of this year, we'll at least done almost say 80% or so. Yes.
So we know that setting goals as a person, for you to achieve anything, you would have to have set goals. So what are some of your set goals towards the realization of growth in the sector, in the health sector, that is?
Well, my goal is, first of all, continuity.
Okay.
I believe in continuity, and I was in the system before coming off, so I should continue from where my predecessor stopped, then and build on it. Presently, we have actually reached some stages in the aspect like tutor, health information tutor education, which with Kaduna Polytechnic, we have signed memorandum of understanding, and we even have reached a point of seeking admission into the school. So, and I was made known that almost 6 or 7 candidates have applied. So this is very important, because with the knowledge of the teaching staff, the educational methodology, they can be able to impart to our children in the school. But if you don't have the knowledge of teaching or educational methodology, for you to impart knowledge, it's going to be difficult regardless of the qualification you have. So that is why we emphasize on, and we mandated that each and every school should send their candidate to attend to join the program. It's a 9 months program.
That's a lot you're doing, sir. Well done. Appiah, don't you think so?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. And then I was even going to ask, how far with the health record office in Nigeria?
Health record office?
Yeah.
Oh, but he has answered.
But he answered like he explained. So I was going to ask that, but then you said a lot.
Okay. So you mean the structure of the health record offices?
Yeah.
So the health record has a headquarters in Abuja, and in all the 6 geopolitical zones, we have our zonal offices being headed by zonal coordinators. The zonal offices are sited in Lagos for Southwest, and in Enugu for Southeast, and then in Calabar for South-South. While in the north, we have Lokoja Central, then we have Kaduna Northwest, and then Maiduguri, which was actually opened recently, not long ago. I think it was last month. So these are our offices, and in each and every offices we have a number of staff working there. Quite all right, and the aim of it is for us to take our administrative activities close to our professionals working in various health institutions all over the country. So especially when it comes to licensing, indexing, and so on and so forth. Yes.
That's really nice. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank you
for
very much.
coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir, for coming on the program, and you've educated us and enlightened us a lot about all the things that you've been doing as the registrar, CEO, Health Record Board. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's still your favorite breakfast show, Good Morning Abuja, and we've been conversing with Baba Gana Mustafa, the registrar, CEO, Health Record Board. Now, Good Morning Abuja continues shortly after this time out. Please do stay with us.